And we're back, everybody. And this is the Transition Podcast, Man to God. And I'm your host, Rashad McCants, back with another episode with another amazing soul that has another testimonial about transitioning into an industry, into a field, into a craft, into a purpose. And this man is driven, and it's an honor for me to introduce him because he's family. And if you don't know what family is, it's a person that's a part of your bloodline, it's part of your tribe, somebody who you can identify with from far, far away, and they have the same type of traits. And Mr. Aaron McCants is family. He is a professional cartoonist, a professional animator, and artist. He is big in the art world. He's big in the artist world. And I have the privilege of having him draw my portrait for my book, Plantation Education. He did the artwork for the book. And I'm telling you right now, when you see the book and you see the artwork and you see the topic and you see the conversational pieces around the artwork, you can see that this guy is very, very talented. I'd like to welcome Mr. Aaron McCants to the podcast. What's up, brother?
Hello everyone.
So let's jump right into it, man. Where are you from? What do you do? What you're so passionate about? Tell us how you got into everything.
Okay, my name is Aaron McCants. I'm from originally born in Chicago, Illinois. Moved to Sacramento, California. Mom was in the Air Force, so we came out here and kind of stuck. So I'm passionate about art, art in general. It doesn't matter if it's cartooning, portraits, graphics, anything. Anything dealing with art. That's that's what drives me. Um, I got started when I was 3 years old. My grandmother, her being an artist, and she kind of took me under her wing when I was three. So I've been around her, watch what she did, and I said that's for me.
Yeah.
That's my field.
So how do you stay connected to something like that at a young age when you have so many different things whirling around, in your mind as a child, things you're interested in, things you're just not interested in, things you're curious about. And then you got this art thing that makes you happy. But how do you stay connected to that? How do you how what kind of advice would you give a kid that sees something like art and has, those bright eyes towards it, but how do you stay connected to it?
Basically, if you like if you like to draw, um, just do it on a daily. It doesn't matter, how good you are or how bad you are. Just keep drawing every day. Doesn't matter if it's stick figures, circles, squares, or whatever. Just use your imagination. That's the best thing you'll have going for you. Is the more you use your imagination, you can make it grow from there, and don't give up at
Right.
all.
Right.
I mean, when I was young, I would draw on like basically anything, like my homework. I don't think walls or anything, but that's all I saw was drawing, and my parents and my brothers and stuff, they kind of saw that. They kind of left me alone, but a lot of times you can get in trouble for stuff like that, or yelled at, whatever. But I think parents or guardians have to support that, and I can't say it. You know, it, you have to support young kids in in what they envision. They're drawing. You know, they're using their imagination. That's important.
Right. So when it comes to the imagination and kind of fostering that imagination and the practice that you talk about, just continuing to chip at it,
Yeah.
chip away, draw. Because I can remember being in class and always drawing different symbols. Because that is a time where you do get to kind of space out and use your imagination. You know, it's not the ideal time, but usually it's usually it's the time in which we kind of space out. And I used to draw a lot of Bart Simpson characters,
Oh, yes.
and Wu-Tang Clan symbols. And I think that the Bart Simpson thing, once I seen how it was done, it became easy. So you can kind of do Homer, you can kind of do Bart and Lisa and all about everybody else. But it's that repetition that you talk about.
Yeah, and you will grow into getting better and better. Um, you just got to keep doing that, and your brain will automatically just get better with like different things you draw, and just don't stop. I know sometimes it'll be boring, but that's the process. You just got to keep at it,
Right,
you know.
right. And that is the process, because once things get boring, it's gonna test that doubt in your mind whether or not you should be doing it or not. And then usually we just drop it after that. We just kind of like, it's not fun anymore. So I don't want to do it. But it becomes less fun when it becomes more challenging. So
Yeah,
when it gets harder, it's like less fun because you gotta focus more and you gotta be more disciplined on your failures. And that's what I love about the art space right now. That's why I wanted to bring you on, because right now, digital art, NFTs, when you're talking about, real being a real artist and becoming an entity in this space. I wanted to start with you is how important it is for someone like an artist to hone in on their craft so that other people can see what they do and appreciate it, but also being able to monetize your art and your imagination, through something you've been working on for so long.
yeah. I know. Like I see a lot of these artists, cartoonists on YouTube. They have their own channel and stuff, and they uh they get paid for it. They just set up, just draw, and they get like people, fans and whatnot. I haven't gotten into that yet, but I'm still working at what I do, and I'll eventually get there.
So
But
what do you think? What do you think the temperature is of everybody trying to run into this space? You think it's something that other potential artists who want to get into this space, who want to get some advice on exactly, what you should be doing, as far whether it's cartooning and animation or digital art pieces, whatever the case may be, art is art. You know what I'm saying? As far as imagination and expression, how do you feel? How important is it this art industry right now as far as being an artist?
yeah, I mean, depends on what you like. Um, and also if you research and find out what's hot, just research that, and you could like dabble in that, just learn different styles that's working now, and you'll get people like loving your stuff. um you could do anything basically. um wow, it's a big field to get into, but just pick something, just learn it the best you can,
Right.
and just run with it, have fun with it. The best thing you can do is have fun with what you do. The more you do it, the easier it'll become for you, and you could master your craft.
Right. 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 So when it comes down to understanding that expression is everything in the art space, and getting into the art space takes creativity, right?
Yes.
And to hone in onto that creativity, you're gonna have to tap in. And we talk a lot about the transition. We talk about transitioning into something that you may have been doing for a long time, but no longer want to do it. And you found a new passion, a new purpose, and something that you really like. But there's a new process to that. There's an adjustment. there's your requirements and steps you have to take to get into
Right.
that area. So let's just say you're dealing with a basketball player who's always been interested in art and always been interested in drawing, but never really took the time to get into it and practice. But this space now seemed to be valuable. People starting to gravitate towards it. People starting to doodle a little bit more, and we starting to see the money pick up in the art form. You got Jay-Z doing the Basquiat, Tiffany's ad, and you got Dame Dash opening up art galleries and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? But who are some of your art influences, as far as people who outside of your grandma, that influenced you to continue to keep going and gave you a little bit of that encouragement?
Well, first I wanna say a cartoonist by the name of Maury Turner. He passed away some time ago, but um, he came to my school. We was having it like a not like a rally, but he came to draw for the kids and stuff. And I was at the rally. I was drawing, and he got up and he was picking people to draw, and he'd ask who's next, and I raised my hand and stuff, and I was really excited. I was like burning excited, and he would never pick me. So I'm like getting all frustrated and stuff, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then he said, last person, raise your hand big, and I like jumped up and I was like waving my hand, and then he looked at me and started laughing, and my teacher like sit down. And then he called me up, he drew me, and that right there, by him picking me and drawing me and stuff, this is that connection. I'm like, yes, yes, I'm actually, you know, involved in stuff. So after he left, everything was over. I thought it was done. I was like on cloud nine, and I went back to class, and I was drawing because we was almost done for the day. But there was a knock on the door, and it was him, and he came over and talking to me and whatnot. But ever since then, we kept in contact. He invited me over to look at the stuff that he was, about to put out in the comics or Sundays or whatever. He just kept me involved, and I appreciated that. And I made a promise to my grandmother and to him that I will always draw, no matter what I'm doing. I will keep at this. And
Sounds
and
good,
I,
man. That's
yeah,
special.
yes, yes,
That's
yes.
special. So tell me this. Outside of that, what can you remember your your first piece that you created that let you know that you were legit? Like you knew you had worked hard enough and you had worked long enough, and you seen finally one that was like, all right, I can send this out to people.
Yours. The one that.
Oh man.
No, oh, it. I know it was my teenage years. I think around 17. You know, it was like a word of mouth type of thing. I was asked to do a comic illustration, a spot illustration for uh, a senior home. Like make like they wanted to have it long running, but when I submitted, they loved it, and they used it, and I don't know what happened after that. We lost contact, but that right there, by request, and it worked for me. Um, that right there was my all time. Like I knew that things would look up for me,
What was
but
the process? What was the process of creating it though? Like as far as you know, what was it? One, what was it? And then
Mhm.
two, like walk us through the process of creating it. And like once you were done, was it like, yeah, this is it? Or was it like, man, I hope they like it. I hope they like it. I don't know if they're gonna like, because we go through this doubt if you don't got the supreme confidence in your skill set. You gotta,
Yeah.
you question yourself. And that's what we talk about, the transition. Once you reach that point that you took the first steps and you start your transformation, that means you start becoming who you are. You're now an artist. You're not thinking about being an artist no more. You don't want to be an artist anymore. You are an artist now. And now you're trying to become a master artist by transcending and doing your art at the best ability that you can, not necessarily saying you're perfect, but you
Right.
know that you've put the love into it to the point where I'm satisfied with this piece. And now the transcendence is getting it out to the people. Now the people can experience your art, your chaos, your beauty, your joy, your expression. All of that stuff can be experienced. And I think that that's the joy of being a creative, is getting past that roadblock of doubt. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if it was good. So tell us, was it your confidence in that? Like, did you have that confidence in that moment while you were going through that process, while you were drawing it? What was it that you were drawing? And tell us about that final look at it, like before you submitted it.
Yeah. I think it was a time period, a younger time period. I had a lot of drive, and that piece, it was about elderly couple. The guy, the older guy, snappy, attitude, remarks and stuff, and the supportive the wife, but they wanted me to stick to a certain script, sort of say. Um, I knew I had like a certain sense of humor, and to put that into that couple, it was a process. I kept writing, okay, what do you think of this? And it was going back and forth. I like this, but I don't see that being them and stuff. And even though I love the artwork and they love the artwork, it just it didn't click, and that kind of hurt. But I knew that the drawing, it
Right.
was the stages, staying with it consistent. That made me feel better that okay, I'm getting good at this. I
Mm-hmm.
can draw strips,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh man, okay, and that led me to start my own strip. Um, and I've been doing that since high school, but I developed a certain sense of humor, put into my strips, all my characters, and it works for me.
I love
And,
it. I love it. And I want to also add to that, man, when you talk about, what you just mentioned, as far as, you know, looking at the strip and ignoring the fact that you got the dialogue wrong, the plot twist wrong,
yeah,
right? But it dissolved in the back of your mind and you said, you know what? The strip is good. The
yes,
strip is good. Yeah, I didn't get the words right. But
yeah,
now if you really think about it, it was your first step. Your first
yes,
step wasn't the failure or the rejection. It was your awareness of accepting, I did something out of this whole project right. And I'm gonna stick with this part. I did this right. I'm gonna work on keep doing this right. And by the time I get it perfected, I can now focus on the words and the plot and the actual dialogue, or get somebody to help me with it. Maybe that's not my strong point. I just strictly do the vision part. Just give me the vision, regardless of which one it is. I think that for the audience, the message there is, you know, you see it,
hmm
you see the issue, you address the issue,
hmm
but you embrace the solution. The solution is I did what I aimed to do, which was draw a great strip. It wasn't necessarily to make it all fit into, good to submit it, but if they like my comic, it's
Yeah.
one thing, but if they like my drawings, it's
Yeah.
another.
Perfect. Yes. And being a company who wants you to do something with either their strip or your strip, it's always what fits for, through their, not necessarily through their vision, but they have to have a package and they
Mm-hmm.
have to work that package out. But with you, like nowadays when you submit stuff online and you make it yours, so many people are going to love you for that, not necessarily what someone else wants your stuff to be, is what you want yourself to be. And and that's the way I love that. That's the way people are going to accept you, and they'll just grow with you from that.
Right. So is that an important thing in the art industry is exclusivity, um, having your ownership, having your mark, having your signature on the brand you create. This gives you, um, I guess you would call it validation. As
Yeah.
far as in the industry, I'm a valid artist that I create my own work. This is all me. This is all. I think that's is that important in the art industry?
It is so important. And I know that when people like with syndications, um, they they want your stuff. They want it a certain way, and they're professional enough to know, they'll get you out there. They'll get you like, mass media. But at the same time, you could accomplish that by creating something that you love and you put out, and it catches on like wildfire. Just believe in yourself and what you put out, and you're going to make it just the same if you were syndicated or not.
Right.
You know,
I
and
love that, bro.
yeah, I just want to another person outside of Maury Turner is Robert Armstrong. He's another one who is very close to Maury Turner, and I think that I look up to him also because he's so close to Maury, and he's a good dude. Yeah.
So as far as ambitions for the future,
Yes.
the tunes. Tell us
Yes.
about your strip, where you at with it now, where you want to be with it. I know you've been doing it for a while now, man, and I've been waiting to see more from you. And if anybody
Wow.
doesn't know anything about his strips and his cartoons, um, he definitely is killing the peanuts. Uh, when I look at his
Oh man.
his when I look at his art, it's similar, but it has a urban twist to it, and it has such fine details in the transitions. And I think that once you get out there, man, when people can really see it, I'm going to help do that as well, because I think it's more so concepts with comic strips now, that gravitate towards the millennials of what you're talking about, what tune are you creating, and so on and so forth. What messages are you delivering? And with your type of skill, let the people know, how long you've been doing it and where you are with your particular, project.
Okay. As far as the tunes goes, I've been at it since 1992, 90, in the 91, 92. Yeah. Yeah. It was way different, but I started in high school, and um a teacher there, she believed in me. She said, "Is this copywritten?" I'm like, "No." She said, "We got to change that." So she paid to have the tunes copyrighted.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And formally, she did that for me, and after that, I just kept at it. People all around the school. They supported it, and I just kept drawing it every week. They put in publications, yearbooks every year, everything. So after that, I just been just working at the tunes, just different characters rotating. My sense of humor been at that. I do like tests with kids, like all right, what do you think of this? And they're like, oh, I like it. And then we would go around the neighborhood, like making copies of the strips, and we'd sell them like for 5 to 25 cents each. And it was cool. That was real fun. And up until now, uh, I've just been just constantly working on the strip, and I hope to just say forget it, just animate it. I got different things as far as the mic for recording,
So you
everything.
so you never really went into the animation part, just all strips and slides. So that would be a big step for you.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember trying to submit the tunes to Universal Press Syndicate. The same with Calvin and Hobbes, because I looked up to Bill Watterson, and I got all the submission together. It wasn't great, but I went the guidelines. So I went by that, and I submitted to them. Waiting. Got my letter back from them, rejection letter, and even though that tore me up, like with before with just doing the process, it got me disciplined to do it, sit down, do it, and just keep working at it. And I've been doing that ever since. And I feel now, um, I might not submit to a syndication, but I want to try different things like doing the spot animations and posting it online and just see what people think.
Yes, that's
I will not stop. I will
that's
not
it.
stop.
And you seen some of my posts on my Instagram of Patrice O'Neal. He
Yep.
passed away. He passed away quite a few years ago, but they've recreated his comedy sketches, or his not even his comedy. He had a podcast in 2009, and he and his homeboys, they had such a good success with Patrice saying what he was saying, that they went back and animated all
Yes.
of his sound bites and his conversations, right? And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to animation,
uh,
cartoonists rule, because you can put any type of message in a cartoon and it can be believable or not believable, but it's a cartoon at the end of the day. So it's, in its essence, it's not believable because it's a cartoon, but you can throw some real stuff in there and it deliver the same type of message. So with that type of animation, as soon as you do that, bro, as soon as you go animated and we can see your characters moving and talking, and bro,
yeah.
it's gonna go, and I'm gonna push it. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, we're talking about your characters being able to do things that they've
Oh
been
man.
waiting to do. It's like Toy Story, it's like Toy Story. It's like they just sitting there, you leave the room and they're like, when is he gonna let us play? When is he gonna let us? He's not gonna make us into real characters. I want to
Man,
be a real boy.
for real.
But they're
I'm
waiting.
going scared, and they're like talking to me, and our main characters like just waiting. I already know you know how I want to like just break out and do it, and I just everything is already there. Um, it's just that moment, just
That
seeing it.
moment. Yeah, I see it in your energy, bro. You're waiting.
The first movement, I'm like,
Yep.
yes.
So what's the next steps for you with creating this animation for you? What, not necessarily, let's not say we're gonna do a pitch for the audience to see who can help you, but let's just say somebody out there listening that can help you and say, hey, look, Aaron, what's the next steps you need to make this thing happen?
I guess it's like my drive is there now. And I feel it's like it's time. I'm ready. I'm getting the different things to be able to do that, like with the program, the creative program or whatever animation
What's the
program.
programs? Talk about the pro. Let's get detailed with it. Like I said, these are people who they want advice from the great, right? And
Okay,
so
so
even for you, you were looking for advice from the people who are listening as well that might be able to help. So, if there is a software that you using that could could be or couldn't be the best software, it's all perspective.
I've seen animation in Procreate. It's pretty good. I know Adobe Animate has a
Mm-hmm.
good software, but the one I'm most surprised by that I fell in love with is called Krita.
Mm.
I oh my gosh. And they show you in the program how they map everything out, and they like with the like XP pen or whatever tablet that they use. I see them like drawing it out and like no, and then they push button and then it'll erase it and they do it again, and it speeds up the process like big time. So in the creative program, I just sat there, watched the tutorial, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
That's it.
yeah,
It was a that's it moment. It was a that's
I
it
have
moment.
the tunes through this.
Yep. Yep. I seen you on your IG messing around with it. And
Yeah.
I was curious. I was like, man, what is he doing? Is that how you do it? I'm like,
Uh,
I can't wait to talk to you about it and pick your brain, man, because I'm
I
one of those
will.
guys. I'm an indigo child. So anything that I see interesting, I'm like, ooh, what's that? Let me look at it. And if there's a video behind it that's gonna tell me how to do it for 10, 12 minutes, I'm gonna take 10, 12 minutes out of my day and I'm gonna at least watch 8 minutes of it. I'm gonna
Right.
get the first half of what it's gonna tell me.
For sure. I've done a lot more than what I posted, only because I can't like put out certain things right now because it's in the works. But it's hot. I
All right.
love it. I'm in love.
That's good, bro. I mean, it's good to see you in this space too, because when you got that progression, and I know this feeling that you have right now, because it's like you've transitioned. You've been doing this since 91. Like people don't
Oh man.
understand that type of grind on
Uh,
one thing, particularly that you just cannot put down.
yeah,
It has to go right.
yeah. And it like hits home because I have like friends from high school. They tapped in and be like, Aaron, I see what you're doing. I've been waiting over 2 decades for this.
Yeah.
Do that. I'm like, yeah, I got you.
Yep. And
I
that
got
makes it's gratifying too when you got even if it's two people in your fan base that's been waiting 20. Hey, listen, bro, I've been waiting 20 years to see this come about. I'm your biggest fan, and I ain't going nowhere until I see the product. That
you.
alone, even if it's one person, is gonna drive you to release it.
Yeah.
And that's a
Um,
beautiful thing.
if I could share like the tunes moment,
Go ahead,
um,
brother.
I wonder what it would be like if I could go from 4 panel comic strip to 3 panels to get the same, effectiveness. So I did that and I ran a test. I went into my bank one day and with a copy and I did my business in the bank. And right before I was done, they said, "Is there anything else?" I'm like, "Here." And they're like, "What's this?" Like, just read it. And I started walking away. And right before I hit the door, they like outburst laughing. I'm like, yes, that felt so good. And oh man. And in another time in high school, I would post my not high school, I'm sorry, but art college in Tucson. I would post my comic strip for the heck of it in the copy room. So and I do that every week. different strip, and like by the end of the year, my friend, and now it was my last year at the school, and my friend like, Aaron, did such and such get in touch with you yet? I'm like, no, who's this? They're like, they've been following your strip for like since you started putting it out, and they wanted to meet the person who's drawing the strips because they love you. They're a big fan of yours. Like,
Wow.
really? Where's it? And then she said, I gotta warn you that he doesn't like people that looks like you.
Mm-hmm.
What, really? But I think he'll, change. Here's his contact. Here's his, and the guy didn't like black people at all. He
Right.
told me the thing. He said, but I didn't know who you look like. I seen your strip. It grew on me and it did something for me. And I want to say I'm sorry and, hugged it out and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Come on,
Wow.
Aaron. What you just do? What'd you
I,
just do? Is that not world changing?
yes. And from that point, I held on to that for so long that all I want to do, I don't care if I get rich or, world famous, but doing that is what's going to drive me forever to
That's what you
change
call
people.
changing the narrative.
Yes.
You change the narrative in which we try. That's what we're unpacking here. The transition is to allow young boys and girls, young men and women to understand you can transition. But with that
Yes.
transition is going to come change, change in you, change in your environment, change in others. So the moment you decide that you were going to put your strip there every week for the whole year, was you saying, I don't care who reads it. I
What?
don't even want no love from it. I just want to express what I got. I just want to show you that I'm doing this. And then you have a guy who has a predetermined attitude about certain people, right?
Yes.
Don't like these people because they ain't got no talent. They can't draw. They can't do nothing but complain. Damn, stand them people. And then he's on this strip, and you see this strip, it has talent all over it. Talent
Yes,
that
sir.
doesn't say sports and doesn't say acting or music. This can't be a black kid. This can't be a black kid doing this, right? But when you change the narrative and you show him that not only is it a black kid doing it, but it's a black kid that doesn't care that you don't like black kids.
For real. Yes, sir.
So now we've changed the world with one piece of art, and you have many pieces of art.
Yes. Yes.
That's
And
how we
and
transition, man.
I'm positive that anybody could do it. With whatever you have, you could do it.
You just did it, brother, and you just showed us all it's possible. And that's what we here for. And I don't even want to take too much more time because I think you just dropped the mic on us. I think you just dropped the mic on us with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I think you can't clear it up any better than that story. That story was by far an eye-opening. We see it in movies sometimes when they get it the wrong way, when it's like, I judged you, I prejudged you. I didn't think,
Mm-hmm.
well, because you were black, you could ice skate. Now I'm the best ice skater out here. I ain't think because this is golf. I didn't think because this is golf, you couldn't swing and hit the ball, but now I'm Tiger Woods. Hey, hey, you didn't know I can draw either.
Man. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think and I believe very strongly that you, Aaron McCants, is the next best thing. You're on your way. You've waited. You've been patient. You've done the work. You've actually established new technology to enhance and advance your creation,
Yes.
which is a part of transcending. Because if you're stuck in your transformation, you're never going to get to the next level because you keep changing what you have and what you're doing. You keep changing it. You already said, look, I'll transform into this person. I already know what I want to do. I just need to take it to the next level. And when you can change somebody's perception, with your expression, you're an Avenger. You're a superhero. You cannot be beaten. You cannot be taken. So I don't want to take too much more Aaron's time, everybody, but I want y'all to check him out on his social medias. Aaron, let's close out, man. You tell everybody where to find you, man. You just blew the roof off the whole podcast, man. Tell them where to find you, how they can ask about, kids want to know how to doodle and tune and how they can get in contact with you, ask you some questions.
Yeah, if you want to email, datoons, DATOONS at yahoo.com. Just Google that name or Aaron McCants on Facebook. As far as Instagrams, datoons 211 or datoons 6303, and just hit me up there. Friend me, I'll accept you, and keep in contact.
Keep in contact. That's what I'm talking about. And if you didn't know, Plantation Education is on Amazon and all other platforms where you can see Mr. Aaron McCants' artwork front, hand, and center, gracing the cover of our book. And I'm saying our book because Aaron was one of the first people that I reached out to grace, the cover of the book, but also be a part of my journey and to welcome him in as family, someone who can do what he does, to be able to do it for me and be a part of my legacy and also join, the ride. And I'm here to return the favor for him. And I'm so appreciative, not only of him coming on the podcast and talking, but also, peeling your layers of that nervousness out of there, getting them nerves out, and then also telling some good, captivating stories